Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello to you and welcome back to the channel where you join me at the Lamborghini Lounge during Car Week in the USA, where behind me there's a pretty nice lineup of 3 cars in the 3 colours of the Italian flag, the tricolore. But what we're here to see today is the car that has just been unveiled right over there, the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. Not just any car though, this is the special 63 edition. Let's head on over and check out the brand new car. This is it then, the car that was launched last night right here, so we can take a first look in detail at the new SVJ. It's been a big build-up campaign, loads of teasers along the way, and as we know now, this car has reclaimed the lap record for a production car at the Nürburgring Nordschleife for Lamborghini. They had it with the Huracan Performante, it was stolen by Porsche with the GT2 RS, but the SVJ, a camouflaged car that ran it quite recently, has reclaimed that record for Lamborghini with a time of 6 minutes, 44 seconds, 0.97. But let's just take this in then, take a walk around to go over all of the details in full. Firstly, walking around it to take in the overall highlights of this car. The 6.5 litre V12 now makes 770 horsepower. Of course, you will notice as we take a look at it, the aerodynamics are dramatic and crazy. It now features Lamborghini's ALA system, ALA standing for Aerodynamica Lamborghini Aventador. It's the system that pulls air through at the front and at the rear and redirects it out underneath the wing to direct the car and help with downforce while cornering. Look at this view from the rear. This is incredible. I think it's a great looking thing back here. The new positioning for the exhaust system having been moved to the style that the Huracan wore before, rather than the traditional Aventador models that had a centre exhaust down beneath that. But lots of carbon fibre, of course. This is the special design livery for the 63 edition, and I'll talk more about those differences, but that gives you all the visual carbon fibre, the painted contrast accents around the car. Of course, you can then go to Lamborghini's Ad Personam program and personalise it even more beyond that. But look at the vents, the cutaways, the shapes, the angles. This is Lamborghini. This is their special hardcore limited series, track focused, hard car designed for out and out, full on raw experience. And no doubt it's going to offer that. It incorporates a number of the updates that were found in the Aventador S, so taking things even beyond the SV model that we saw before that was based on the original Aventador, things like the 4 different driving modes, the 4-wheel steering system, and then of course presented now with the 63 livery. And the reason for the 63, by the way, Lamborghini Automobili was founded in 1963, so a very significant car for the Italian supercar manufacturer. The Aventador has been a hugely popular and very successful model for Lamborghini since its introduction around about 6 years ago. It continued their lineage of the big flagship V12 powered cars that started back with the Miura, then they had the Countach, the Diablo, the Murcielago, and then the launch of the Aventador LP 700-4, representing 700 horsepower and 4-wheel drive. They had a number of special editions before launching the Roadster that has the 2-piece Targa-style roof that can be taken off and stowed away in the front bonnet, but then came the arrival of the SV. Standing for Super Veloce, it took power up to 750 horsepower, their limited edition, track-focused version of the Aventador. So think lighter weight, more dramatic aero, and a much more raw and hardcore driving experience. Now of the SV, it's been a very popular car itself. They built 600 coupes and then 500 roadsters before the arrival of the facelift, the updated model, the Aventador S. Now the Aventador S had 740 horsepower, but introduced a number of new technologies. So those 4 different driving modes, which include the Ego driving mode, the configurable driving mode where you can set things like the steering, the throttle response, the suspension, those elements that you expect to do with the driving dynamics. It launched the rear wheel steering system, Lamborghini's 4-wheel steering system, which helped the car at high speed with stability by turning in the same direction as the front wheels, and then at low speed in opposite directions to the front wheels, which helps the car with cornering like it's going round on rails, because let's be honest, this is a very big machine itself. So the SVJ, the introduction of that letter at the end, stands for Jota. So down here, Aventador, named after a Spanish bull, of course, Super Veloce, super fast, and then J for Jota. Now traditionally for Lamborghini, the J and Jota versions represented the race cars that were made, lighter weight and more power to be taken and entered into racing series. So this is that expression now based on the Aventador S. There have been a few few very special cars along the way, including the likes of the Aventador J, the Veneno, and more recently the Centenario, which just dialed things up even further. But the SVJ is, I suppose you could say, the normal product series, but still the limited edition car. You know, there will only be 963 of these in total when you take those 63 plus the normal 900, and it indicates that just inside the window here, one of 63, not necessarily car number one, but with the tricolore right underneath that. So the SVJ has been long awaited, but here it is, arrived now. So some more details for you. In the back, we have the 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12. It makes 770 horsepower. You can see right in here, you've got the firing order written on that plaque on top of the engine. You've got the colours on the inside that match actually with the contrast accents on the exterior of this car. It has 720 Newton meters. You'll get 0 to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds, thanks to the all-wheel drive system and of course the launch control. You'll then get 0 to 200 kilometers per hour or 124 miles per hour in just 8.5 seconds. It will then go on to a top speed of 350 kilometers per hour or 216 miles per hour. So incredibly fast, not only in a straight line, but also, as we know, around the racetrack, thanks to the aerodynamics that are at work. So let's focus on those in a lot more detail. I think the best place to start is with Lamborghini's ALA system, the Aerodynamica Lamborghini Aventador. This is the 2.0 version, the second development on from what they introduced with the Hurricane Performante. But now you have, for example, the flaps in here that will direct airflow and come out over the top, which will give it more downforce independently from one side to the other, depending on how you're turning. Those flaps open in 500 milliseconds to help with the car, to help with cornering, to help stick it down to the ground. It's also got new tyres, a new developed P0 Corsa for the car, again stickier rubber, helping on the track environment. But coming round to the back, the ALA continues here, so above the rear deck lid, carbon fibre piece, very, very lightweight and nice on this car. The air flows in through there, the clean air that's come over the roof of the car, it then comes up through this centre stalk in the rear wing, and beneath you can see where it's released on one side or the other, depending which way you're turning. Very, very clever, and in fact the car overall has 70% more downforce than the SV had. That's quite significant. I believe it's just shy of 500 kilos or so of downforce in total when you look at the car. Of course, the wing, that massive rear wing there that runs almost to the full width of the car, has a particularly unusual and unique mounting system, and it works in partnership with the diffuser down here, the incredibly aggressive diffuser with loads of openings for the cooling. Quite interesting actually to see the radiator cooling back here, just completely exposed out the back. You can see the cutaways, the way the air is directed around and through here, all to reduce wheel swelling in the arches. But one of my favourite things has to be the placement of these exhaust tips at the back. The way they've moved, they're huge, they're ginormous, they're aggressive, and I think they give it some real presence back here. You'll also spot the reversing camera right up above there. So the car, I mean, if you ask somebody to draw a supercar, they tend to draw an Aventador, right? That shape, the way the roofline comes straight down in one almost curve towards the back of the car. It's not broken up, it's clean. Here we've got ceramic brakes, the Lamborghini ceramic brakes. We've got centre locks for the wheels as well, of course, very race style there. Coming round to the side, more vents for cooling, more openings. Of course, the glass window is quite small on the rear deck lid, so you don't get a great view, but from inside you'll be able to see backwards through those slats that point towards the rear. Everywhere is just angular shapes, aggressive design. If you look at the new skirts we have here, for example, they're quite open to bring the air smoothly around the car, streamline through the air. And then here at the front, the end plates installed onto the end of the front bumper, front splitter, you can see are actually open all the way through too, so lots of airflow that can go in different ways through the front of the car here. So it's a menacing look. It's actually been almost rounded off around that front edge, slightly akin to the Centenario. So if you have a look here, you can see the way this is open. Can you see down towards the splitter here? I've got my hand down there. That's quite clever, the way it also has vanes inside to direct that air. So all very much controlled with the S-ducts there, the airflow that can go through the car as well to work with the ALA system. And then we can take a look at the inside too. As before, the button's just under here, give a press of that and then it will release, open upwards. Lamborghini doors here, you have to have them. But then inside, take a look at this. Very stripped out, straight down to the floor of the car here. You can see the carbon fibre tub that runs around the fixed bucket seats that you have. The trim in here is again the 63 edition, so some special accents and highlights. You've got the digital displays that show you Aventador SVJ. This car is brand new, literally only being launched to the world right here, but this is all about Alcantara for lightweight, about looking the part and being the part to be driven hard. So the Alcantara steering wheel with the shift paddles on the rear, still the 7-speed automated manual, but revised, updated, quicker, and also smoother, they say, which hopefully we'll experience on a drive at some point. You've got the gloss carbon fibre trim in here, so the exterior of this car all with the satin carbon, but look at that door card actually, and the SVJ logo that you have on the seats. I love that full carbon fibre door card. In fact, you've got carbon on the back wall as well, behind the seats, for that view through the window towards the engine back there. Very, very special. Now naturally, because this car is on display, it had a trickle charger you might have seen around the back. That's plugged in to make sure that the battery doesn't go dead with all the people opening the doors and sitting in it to explore. So as part of the 63 edition then, let's talk about some of the aspects that you get with that side of things. So, starting off right here, the A-pillars through the roof and the engine cover in exposed carbon fibre. These can be opted through ad personam, but a big part of this car, you of course get the 63 designation that is painted onto the sides of the car. You get this contrast accent. I do like the tricolore flag right here too, but the accents that continue around and just sharpen up the edges even more here around the boot lid, on the stalk or the arm for the rear wing, on the diffuser blades. Again, obviously around the other side too, the gold for the ceramic brakes, and here this front lip continues round from here around to the sides. On the interior, that comes with special finishing and exclusive kind of covers that you have on the seats, so the stitching that matches with the exterior, but also the styling and design is slightly different to the standard car. But again, you can take it to ad personam and completely customize it, noticing the carbon fiber here on the instrument cluster as well. But this is my first look at the inside. As before, you've got the start button in the center, the fighter jet style lifted up. Press the button if you want. The entertainment system probably could do with an update, but that maybe comes in the future model. In fact, Lamborghini have actually teased what the future of their V12 lineup will be, and they're saying it's not going to be turboed, but it will be hybrid, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of that in the future. But either way, this amount of carbon we like an awful lot. You've got the Sensonum hi-fi system in here, very good system. After all, a lot of these are going to be driven out on the road as normal road cars by their customers. So there we have it, the new SVJ. Is it the car that you were hoping Lamborghini were going to reveal, the flagship of the Aventador model series? On a personal level, I actually like it more than I thought beforehand that I might. And I think much of that comes from the fact that this is a very, very big car. Make no mistake about it, it is incredibly wide. And that means you have a lot of body panel area, so to speak. And by having so much carbon and aero work to break it up, it actually makes that surface area look slightly smaller, which I rather like as a result. I think it's unique how they've designed it. For example, the rear wing, I love having the exhaust tailpipes like that, akin to the Huracan Performante, and I think really, you know, this is what a Lamborghini is supposed to be: brash, wild and crazy, and apparently it goes quite well too, but we'll have to see what that's like in the future. For now though, a first look at the brand new car as it has been launched right here on this spot late last night in the dark. So today we've been able to take a better look at it. Now, to continue the lineup that Lamborghini actually have here, we have the Huracan Performante Spider, finished with the gold wheels against the bright red paintwork. Of course, this set a time sub 7 minutes at the time around the Nürburgring. Well, the coupe version did, limited in terms of production build, but not strictly a number of them that went off the production line. Then alongside that, we have the Urus, the super SUV as they call it, the world's fastest SUV vehicle. Lamborghini styling to a completely new form factor. And then, to complete the Italian flag, the Huracan race car just sitting at the end. Amazing that one company can make these 4 different cars, really quite different from a supercar manufacturer, but I love the tricolore of the green, white and red, topped off with the SVJ. So thank you very much, as always, for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this first look. As always, there will be more with this car to see on the channel in future, so do be subscribed and you'll see the first updates as and when the time comes. But that is it for this time. Thank you again, as always. I'll see you guys again very soon. Cheers.